It's your brother Promo Black. I know living in a system can be real whack, so I'm gonna give you the tax so you know how to react. This is Homestead with Promo Black. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for joining me on another video. Today, guys, I want to talk about my chickens. I'm a big believer in homestead, and a big thing about homesteading as a lifestyle is self-sufficiency. That means growing your own food, raising your own food. In my case, that would be chickens. When I first came out here, me and my wife wanted to get a bigger livestock like a goat or something of that nature. But we found that chickens were a lot more affordable. Not only that, I don't know about you guys, but last year when the bird flu hit, it was like, man, something's got to change. So we decided to look up a hatchery. We found a really great one. Um, we went ahead and bought 30 chickens. So I bought those chickens last May 2025. Unfortunately, a neighbor's cane corsos, really big dogs, got out and decimated my flock. Thank God, but luckily 6 survived. I had 4 Dominiques, 1 Australorp, and 1 Wyandotte that survived the massacre. But essentially, they were able to hide behind their nesting boxes to get away. But we were thank God for them. So I had to restart. Got on a good foot with him. We got that squared away, and he decided to help us out. So thankfully, I was able to get some more chickens. So this year, luckily for you guys, even though that was an unfortunate event, you guys get to follow along as I reestablish my flock. So we bought another 25 chickens this year, and they're different types of chickens, so you guys are going to be entertained by the variation in colors and breeds that we have. And so I wanted to break down to you guys in this video where they live, how my wife and I built that, put that together. We put together a run. It's called a chicken run, which gives them more ability, which gives them more freedom to run around, move around, jump around, play around. We researched that happier chickens yield better eggs. So at our peak last year, we were getting about 6 eggs a day, half a dozen eggs a day. So that added up pretty quick, and we were really happy with that production. In addition to that, as far as what we feed them, we like to feed them oats, beans, and cracked corn. We do the oats and beans as supplemental. We let those we soak those so they get really big. That way the chickens will really enjoy them, really fill them up. We give the cracked corn as something that's more steady throughout the year for their diet, very affordable cracked corn. And so we get that for a great price. So why not, right? And so in addition to that, in this video, I'm going to show you how we buy the chickens, from day one. Maybe not day one, but, we're going to show you what they're like when we first get them, how we transition them, that process that we have for that, as well as transition them to outside. So we got a few steps involved once we get the chickens going. But yeah, in this video, we're going to talk about all that. So thanks for joining me. So once again, I wanted to stress the importance of reduce, reuse, recycle. We were lucky enough to have a structure that was already placed on our land. We were able to break it up into 2 parts and split it up to use the part that was least put together in order to fortify the one that we thought was deemed well enough to be a foundation. So as you see here, yeah, we set that up. We were blessed to come across some boxes that we figured we could repurpose as nesting boxes. We placed those in there. The order that we did the chicken coop in was we did the wall, the door, then we did the skeleton of the roof, then the metal sheeting of the roof. Out here, we have to make it through tough winters. So you see us, we were able to get that set up, get some poles in the ground, and then winter came, so we had to wait a season. Winters last 8 months out here. Summers last 3 months, 3 to 4 months out here. So give or take. So we got to get a move on. Well, I guess I misspoke. I'll say 5 months because from May pretty much to September it's warm, and then that last harvest moon in October we're not able to plant anymore. So we do have to kind of get a move on with things. This is the inner wall, well, the outer wall that we set up. On the inside, we placed insulation, and the insulation was old dog food bags and chicken feed bags. On the outside wall that you see here, we use old adobe brick and cement. We get a northern wind that comes from time to time, pretty rough. So we finished off the chicken coop with like a metal sheet on the northern facing roof side. Then once it warmed up, we were able to start working on the base of the chicken run. We wanted open space with a pond. We placed an old couch inside it as another perch. Then we used hardware cloth to wrap the bottom layer of the chicken run. We eventually came back, did the same thing, but we did that on the top layer of the chicken run. And before I forget, funny story, we had to, in order to form the base of that chicken coop, we had an old Craftsman shed we paid for. I think it was like $800, $700, $800. Unfortunately, we left it here thinking that it could withstand the wind. And when we moved out here permanently, to our surprise, it was blown down. So there could have been a user error on our part, but we decided to reuse some of those sheets and some of the material from that Craftsman shed to, form the base of the coop. So we used that as well as wooden sheets from the other piece of the building. We cut those in half to form the base. Then, like I told you, we wrapped it all with hardware cloth. You might not see anything from the roofing of the run because, we kind of needed all hands on deck for those. We put a hawk netting as well as shade cloth to help protect the chickens from the summer sun. And that was pretty much how we put together the chicken coop and chicken run. We're going to visit back with how we set up the inside. I touched on it briefly with the installation, but I'm going to give you guys a view of that inside as well as like the chicken bed. But I wanted to pivot to how we initially start with the chickens. So as you see here, when we order the chickens, they arrive in this little cardboard box. 30 chickens, they're all hunkered down, using each other for warmth. They say they have a sack that they can eat on for like at least 3 days. So this year we got our chickens in 2 days. So that was awesome. We ordered them, and a couple days later, it's time to go pick them up. As seen on the shorts, we place them in a little tote. We cut out the top of the tote just to give them some air, some breathing. We put a little net in so they won't jump out of it. And basically, they're in that for the first month. After they start getting a little bigger, they start smelling up the place, we like to transition them into a tent. So once they're at 2 months old, we go ahead and put them outside. And I have to say, man, they acclimate pretty well to outside. It's really easy to put them on a schedule. We give them their oats and beans in the morning. We give them their cracked corn as a snack or for lunch. And they just hang out, they jump around, they play. We've given them watermelon. They really enjoyed that. They just walk around, jump around, and they're pretty durable, man. My wife made a point to research and get what's called cold hardy chickens. So the blacker chickens, the Wyandotte chickens, the darker chickens, they're a little more cold hardy. They soak up that sun. They're very nurturing when it comes to eggs, even if they're not their eggs. If like one does get incubated, they're very good at nurturing. The Australorps are. They're very good at nurturing the egg, even if it's not, their child. So they're just a really, really close knit flock. Like I said, we got more of them this year. We got some different type, which are called rainbow eggers, and that's going to be fun to get on camera because their eggs are going to be all different kinds of colors, green and blue and yellow. So that's different. But yeah, man, they hung out pretty well. We enjoyed having them. And unfortunately, last but not least, we did have to cull quite a few. We had a few roosters. We had about 5 roosters. So if anyone knows anything about roosters, that's way too many for the amount of birds I had. I think I only had maybe like, I want to say 25 girls. So yeah, we had those 5 boys. It's like, man. And I researched that it's 10 hens to each rooster. So that was just way too many. So we had to get rid of a few of them. And, I have to say it was good eats once we researched how to break down that meat and cook it low and slow, or marinate it in wine, cooking in wine, and just different things like that. So that's when my homestead became official, was when I was able to, I fed these chickens, raised them to age, and was able to eat off the fruit of the land in addition to the eggs. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. This was just me setting up my chickens. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really big on homesteading and feeding yourself, and I wanted you to know that this is cost affordable, cost effective. The main thing is just getting your housing situation set up for them. That's why we started with our housing situation first. We knew we wanted to make that building a coop. We knew how we wanted to do the run, set all that up, got the chicks, raised them to age, put them outside, and they're pretty automatic. You're gonna see a short where they'll walk themselves in the house. They walk themselves in the house at night. I just got to go in there and get them out of there. We do have we did put up a door. Wasn't able to get footage of that because my wife just went out there and knocked it out real quick in a day. But yeah, man. I mean, it's been fun. Like I said, at our peak, we get a half a dozen eggs, and so I'm excited to re-raise this flock and get it on camera for you guys. Once again, like and subscribe to the video. Peace.